What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is having a fantastic night. We got a very, very special guest backstage, Ross, five-star running back. He's
Yes, sir.
actually committed to Florida State, believe it or not. Very special talent. He's agreed to come on the Scoop on the U. Ross, why don't you introduce our very talented guest who's waiting backstage?
Yes, this is 2024 five-star running back / athlete Cam Davis from Albany, Georgia, and like Paul mentioned, currently committed to FSU.
Cam, welcome to the Scoop. It's really an honor to have you on.
Thanks for inviting me to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cam, you're committed to Florida State, outstanding, honor, to be committed to a program, class of 2024. Walk me through kind of your process of, your verbal commitment to Florida State and why you chose to commit there.
It all started my 7th grade year. I went to two of the baseball camps.
Okay.
And when I was there, football coach was there at the baseball camp looking at some of the guys that was already committed both sports. And it picked up from there. Kept in contact with a lot of the coaches on the football staff that's still there now, as far as Coach Atkins. And last year, my 9th grade year, they offered me both football and baseball. So I committed probably a week or so after. And it's just a great experience to be committed for both sports to a university that deal with great two-sport athletes.
No, 100%. I think that's outstanding. You've made a commitment, and Florida State's going to let you play baseball and football at the next level. Not a lot of schools do let that happen for their athletes. You know, if you had to decide to play professional football or professional baseball, which one would you pick? Because baseball is interesting. You can get drafted out of high school, and at a
Yes, sir.
fairly young age. I mean, you get paid your signing bonus when you get drafted. Have you thought about maybe playing professional baseball over football, or maybe the other way around?
Right now, I don't really look too much far ahead. I just focus on the goal that's at the next level and not a couple levels ahead. So right now, I don't really know if I want to go football or baseball professional wise. I'm just gonna let that time come and make a decision then.
No, absolutely. I think that's outstanding. You're nothing too long ahead. You're thinking in the moment. Ross, Cam, he's a five-star running back, already committed to Florida State, class of 2024. What makes him such a spectacular football player?
He's already becoming an all-around running back, and he's class of 2024. If you just put the tape on, you wouldn't be able to tell me that that's a 2024 kid. I would think he's 2023, getting ready to go to college next year. He plays like that. The physical nature and the speed and the power combination that he has, plus his IQ and vision, bro, it's just a deadly combination. He truly understands the position. It's not just an athlete playing football. It's an athlete understanding the position that they're playing.
Cam, anything you want to add to that?
He basically said it all, but it's still a lot of stuff that I can work on and perfect as far as my vision and moves. I can add a little bit more moves to my game as far as a spin move and stiff arm, which I don't use very much. But other than that, he pretty summed up everything about me as a running back and an athlete.
Cam, what's your current height and weight?
Right now, I'm 5'10", 200 pounds.
Okay. What's the off-season workouts been for you? What have you really wanted to focus on to take your game to the next level?
Right now, I'm just focused on leadership, and right now I'm playing quarterback at the high school. So, the only thing I really been working on is my drop.
Oh, I think camera froze. Oh, he's coming back. Cam, can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So we lost you, height and weight. Then playing the quarterback position is where we lost you.
Oh, yeah, I play quarterback at the high school. So, I'm just really focusing on leadership and communication with the offensive line and the wide receivers so that they know their task on every play and where they're supposed to be lined up.
How did this last high school season go for you guys?
It went great. We ended going 10-3. We lost to Carver Columbus in the third round of the Georgia High School Association playoffs. So it was a great experience this year, but this year coming up, we're looking to go all the way and win the ring.
Do you remember what kind of stats you put up this last season?
Last season, I ended with 1,600 yards passing and 1,500 yards rushing, with 3,150 yards in total with 31 touchdowns.
That's impressive, man. I mean, that shows your versatility. You know, it really,
Yes,
really
sir.
does. What was a big game last season? You know, like competition breeds greatness. What was a big game last season in a battle that you were in that you felt turned you into a better player?
No doubt in my mind, the Northeast Macon game. I had just came out of COVID, so and they were already a tough team, so it made it tough on me with taking 2 weeks out and then coming right back into the biggest game of the year. They had the best defense that we faced all year. They had a great offense. They drove the ball downfield also, but our defense gave us stops, and the offense had to capitalize. So 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we finally scored for the first time of the game and hit a field goal to end it with 3 seconds left. So I definitely put that as the most energetic and competitive game of this year.
Cam, I know you're committed to Florida State, as we previously spoke about. How has been the relationship with the University of Miami football coaching staff throughout your recruitment?
Throughout my recruitment, it's been a pretty balanced relationship with the Miami coaching staff. I have hit a lot of the coaches up on Twitter, sent my film, sent my measurements, GPA and stuff like that, and they always react to it in a good way. So it's been a pretty stable and balanced relationship with us. But I just want to make sure that I have the best relationship with them so that they understand me and I understand them.
Is there a specific coach you've been speaking with the most on the coaching staff that you've been able to build a relationship with?
Coach Cristobal, I've probably spoken to him the most or text him the most. So he's definitely the coach that I want to build the best relationship with.
I know, you've already made your verbal commitment, obviously. Are you still planning on visiting other college football programs?
Oh, yes, sir. I will be visiting other colleges just to get the full experience of recruitment and not just limit my hopes and things of that nature. So I will be taking visits this summer and try and get the best experience out of it.
Cam, were you a little surprised by the Canes offer, or was it something you were expecting?
I was really surprised because I had been trying to get an offer from Miami for about a year and a half now, but everybody always told me be patient and anything would happen. So it wasn't really a surprise anymore once I seen that my recruitment picked up this school year, and I definitely look at the Miami office as a big thing.
Who are some of your favorite players, guys that you look up to get points to help you out? Guys you can copy a little bit in your own game.
I look at Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers, and Leonard Fournette a lot because all of them guys, they're downhill power backs. They also have moves that they can use in different spaces, and that they just know a different level of the game that they can use and think about.
So what do you feel the best traits are for running backs, mentally and physically?
Knowing what they not basically just knowing what to do in what situation, and blocking also. Blocking is a big key for a running back because most running backs don't like to block after offensive linemen have missed the block or something. They don't like to pick up the big defensive linemen, defensive ends, linebackers that come through the hole. So just being able to pick up a block and help the quarterback get in his own field of vision is a big plus for a lot of backs.
Cam, are there any other programs? I know Florida State, Miami. Are there any other schools that you've been still in contact with that you're still open to in your recruitment and just communicating?
Yes, sir. Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, schools like that, they have been at me and we've been talking a lot. So I would say those are the schools that I have been talking to the most.
Perfect. That's awesome. No, I mean, Cam, you're a 5-star running back, class of 2024. How do you, I mean, being rated so high, do you feel like you have a chip on your shoulder, like everyone's out to get you competition wise, trying to steal your spot as one of the top players in the nation and for the class of 2024?
Oh yes, sir. I definitely feel that I'm a big target when I play other teams, especially when they know the things that I could do and the harm that I can put on the defense. So just whenever I step on the field, I look at it as I can't be hunted. So no matter what team, what region, what classification they are, I always put in my all and get mad if things don't go the right way or how I expect.
Hey Cam, let's talk a little bit of a game week film study here, okay? So
Yes,
you're
sir.
getting ready. So you're getting ready here, and you're getting prepped to watch film versus the defense you're going to watch, and you're especially tuning into the defensive line. What are some of the first things you try to key in?
The first thing I try and key in is what stance, if they have different type of stances on to what move they're gonna use and stuff like that. So basically I just look at if they go in a 3 or 4 point stance and what technique they use and stuff like that. So that'd be my biggest thing in film study at running back, to look at what kind of stance they're in and what moves they do in that stance.
How you mentioned it already as a pass blocker. How do you feel as a pass blocker already?
I feel like I pick up big D lineman pretty good because I can use my legs to bring up explosion and just stop them and get in their way of the quarterback.
Hey Cam, who's your guys' biggest rival school you play against?
Right now, our biggest rival is Carver and Westover.
Okay. How did it go last time you played Carver?
Last time we played Carver was in the third round of the playoffs. We lost to them 16-14 on a 2 point conversion. So it's a lot of smoke between us, and we'll be seeing them again this year because we're in their region now.
So the team goal then this year is to definitely go for that championship spot.
Yes, sir.
Yep, love it.
Well, Cam, I mean, we're really excited for you to take off this upcoming season. And, we know you're going to do great things, whether it's on the football field, baseball field, or just off the field as a student as well. We know you're going to have a great career on your hands, and whatever path you take. Ross, any more questions for Cam before we let him go?
Yeah, I got to ask him the question that we ask every single recruit we bring in here. Why do you love the game of football, Cam? Where do you get that passion in your body to go out there and compete at the highest level on a weekly basis?
I get the motivation from my parents. I honestly don't like the fact that they have to go out and work under other people and be told like what time they have to come in and when they have to leave and things like that. So I just really want to get them to a place where they can just sit and watch and do whatever they want without being told when to go and what to do and stuff like that. So it's just basically me wanting to get them out of all of the circumstances that they're in. And also my brother, he look up to me a lot, and I don't want to feel to where he feel like he can't do it next. So it's just all about the family and the love that they have for me.
Man, I love that answer, man. I love that answer. Paul, that's all I got.
Well, Cam, we greatly appreciate your time tonight on the scoop. We hope you can come back in the future. And
Yes,
man,
sir.
best of luck, moving forward. We're going to be pulling for you.
Thank you.
You got it, Cam. Have a great night.
You too.
Alrighty. Cam Davis, 5-star running back, class of 2024, currently a Florida State Seminole commit. Phenomenal football player. Obviously, if you're given 5 stars already, class of 2024, verbally committed to Florida State, you're going to be one great football player.
This kid, I mean, he offers everything, Paul. Like I said, for 2024, you take away that 2024 and you don't tell me that that's his class, and I would have no clue that he's. I mean, 2020, 2023. That's what he looks like when he plays. He's got the body, he's got the moves, and like he said too, there's certain things that he can improve on. And one of the things he mentioned was his vision. What I love to hear about that though is that Paul, he already has pretty good vision. So that means that he's not just happy settling for mediocre or just settling at being fine. He wants to take things to an elite level.
So, speaking of recruiting, Ross, I know Nathaniel Joseph, wide receiver out of Miami Edison, verbal commit from Clemson. You want to talk about his recruitment a little bit before we get the ball rolling on the scoop. I mean, what's going on there? 4-star wide receiver, local product out of Miami Edison, committed Clemson. He's a heck of a talent. Great football player. Where do you think things stand, Ross?
It sounds like Clemson has gone from kind of having a power hold over him to having to play defense just to keep him. Miami is putting on the full court press for Ray Ray. They want Ray Ray in this class. And frankly, I'm all for it, dude. I'm a huge fan of Ray Ray. You know that. I'm a huge fan of him. And, it was disturbing as hell to find out that when Diaz was here, he never had one conversation with Likens. He didn't talk to our wide receiver coach one freaking time. An elite guy in our backyard didn't talk to our wide receiver coach, bro. I mean, no wonder he took off to Clemson. But thankfully, we got guys like Mario and them in right now, and they're talking to him in different ways and showing him different ways and showing him that development will be had at Miami going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I can't recall. I mean, maybe the chat can help me out if you guys remember a recruit who was committed early to a program, like over a year to 2 years. And, throughout that recruitment wasn't entertaining other college football programs or maybe didn't stick to that commitment as well. When you commit early to a program, I feel like it's a little rare that you maintain that commitment for over a year to 2 years. If you do it as, an underclassman, maybe it's tough to maintain that commitment and not entertain other schools because a lot of things happen throughout that time. So that's definitely one name to circle in. Ross, there was a comment. I mean, there maybe a conversation on social media saying Mario Cristobal's recruitment during his time at Miami has not gone on as well as other people thought. Do you agree with that? I think we're very, very early to, have that conversation. I like to talk about that subject when things are set in stone and we're completed with both signing days. But, I think we're still very early in the process.
It's too early, and we're still picking up the pieces that Diaz and his staff left behind. It's not over yet. We still have work to do in getting trust. Just a guy like Ray Ray. We got to convince him that Miami is the place to be and not Clemson. This is what we're trying to do for every single recruit we're going after. Miami is the place to be. This is no longer being ran by a poor coach and a poor coaching staff. This is being ran by guys who are proven and have developed players and have put them in the NFL.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, we still haven't played a football game yet. If Miami goes, on a tear, wins the ACC first year, goes to the college football playoffs, or wins a New Year's Six bowl game, I mean, I think that's going to hold a lot of weight, and I think that's an outstanding step forward with a year one head football coach in Mario Cristobal. So, I'll evaluate how Mario does in recruiting his first full recruiting cycle after both signing days are over. And we got a lot of time, before, we can definitely have an opinion on where things stand. So I think he'll have a lot of success, and I'm expecting a top 10 recruiting class.
The buzz is still there when I talk to recruits. It hasn't died down. It hasn't even slightly died down. Miami is a realistic option in their eyes. And if they haven't visited yet, they're planning on getting down there to visit eventually. It's going to be, I think, the weather warms up more and more. The weather really never gets cold in Florida, but it warms up more and more and things get more active there. I think we're going to start seeing more and more recruits taking trips down to Florida just to poke in and see what's really going on.
I know we've had Anthony Hill on this show before. There was an article about 24/7 Sports. I believe he stated in an interview he wasn't, basically he was taking official visits to programs and he was going to make a quick decision. Miami was not on that list as well. Jaden Wayne, he's taking official visits to Oregon instead of maybe making an appearance at the camp that Mario Cristobal has set up. Can't think of the name right now. Sorry about that. To replace Paradise Camp.
Legends camp or
Yeah, it's something of that aspect. I'm sure it is called Legends Camp, but
I'm curious to see who all makes it. I'm
yeah,
really curious to see who all makes it. One thing that is a bummer already is Jaden Wayne deciding to take a visit to Oregon during that. But that doesn't really shake me or anything. It doesn't scare me for the simple fact that Wayne's already been down multiple times. He's flown
yeah.
down multiple times. Even when things weren't looking the greatest at Miami, he was still down there flying down, getting information from coaches. Actively involved with our players and our alumni on the sidelines at camps. Him missing this one camp, and especially with the relationship he already has with Cristobal, I'm not too worried about it, honestly. I'm just not. Now, could he definitely not pick Miami? Sure. I mean, that's a possibility that he could absolutely pick Oregon. But I still think that we have a great shot.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, Oregon is right down the road compared to taking a flight to Miami. But it's going to be a fight for Jaden Wayne, and we'll see what happens. It's early on, and this recruitment stuff changes every day. Every single day. These are human beings just like you and me. And listen, every day, if I have to make a decision on something, I change my mind at times. So you never know what recruits are thinking. Ross, Jalen Robinson, wide receiver out of the transfer portal from UCF, picks Ole Miss, does not pick Miami. Some people are upset. It is what it is. I mean, look, best of luck at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Hope he has a great season, quite honestly, and does great things and excels in his final year of college football. Were you a little bit surprised he didn't pick Miami? I know he was entertaining Ole Miss, Tennessee, SMU, as well as Miami. Miami did get the last official visit. Just your thoughts about his commitment to Ole Miss?
I was hoping that last visit was going to be kind of what sewed it up for us. I was hoping that maybe he wasn't thoroughly impressed at the other places he went to, and we just blew his mind. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. What I will say is, and I've said it before, I understand the desire for players to want to play in the SEC and prove themselves. I understand it completely. And you're talking about a guy going to a very high-powered offense who's going to know how to use him properly. So I can't hate on him for making that move. I think he actually made a good move. But hell, he'd have fit in fantastic here too.
No, I think he would have done a great job in Miami. He's kind of your inside receiver that you need to utilize. Playing big playmaking ability. I know we have a lot of slot receivers as well that we can utilize. And primarily for me, if we're going to get a receiver, it'll be on the outside. But best of luck at Ole Miss, honestly. And like you said, best Lane Kiffin, he can get the offense rolling at Ole Miss and have a lot of productivity. So I'm happy to see Jalen Robinson happy with his decision. And do you think, it seems like players from Miami, the transfer portal, I don't think it's set in stone yet. They may be putting their names in there. There's going to be a lot of surprise names, I'm sure, in the next few days, few weeks. Is it over for Miami with the transfer portal, or do you think we'll be putting our name back in the hat?
I think we're still going to look for talent out there because we still need guys that can help us week one. We're not a complete team. I would love to get more experience in areas of need. I've talked to you before about it many times. If it happens to be the linebacker position, hell yeah. If we find a guy who's suitable and can help us week one, hell yeah, bring him in. If it's not something like that, maybe we're looking for that other kind of wide receiver like we were with the UCF guy. Maybe we're looking for another big play type of guy because maybe we think Brashard isn't quite ready yet for that role. So to me, it could go a couple different ways, but it could go a couple different ways and it would still be positive. That's what I like. We can make a move and it can be positive in multiple different aspects.
I'm curious if the staff is just waiting for like a suitable wide receiver from the portal, or they're looking at just the best available that can make the team better. I want to know what the chat thinks, because I still think we're going to keep our eye out on the portal. But are we just singling out one specific position? But for example, let's say there's a phenomenal quarterback that enters the transfer portal. I don't think we're going to take him because I don't think we need another quarterback. We got Tyler Van Dyke, Jake Garcia.
Yeah.
And if you want to throw in Ja'Kurrie Brown, you can throw him in as well. We have quarterbacks in the quarterback room. So I don't think we need running backs either. So I think we're singling out a couple specific positions, and I think it's wide receiver and perhaps linebacker play.
wide receivers got to be something to where, we're going to have to see these young guys step up. We've seen the talent. We've seen them make plays. We haven't seen consistent talent yet, consistent plays yet.
Right.
We've seen the raw talent from them, though. And so I've got hope with guys like Restrepo. I've got hope with guys like Brinson. I've got hope with guys like Matthews. I've got hope with multiple wide receivers we have. But are they ready to step in to be the number one guys right now? And that's what I'm not sure is who's going to be that guy. And if it just so happens that we don't have a big play wide receiver one, then that makes me think that we'll go the possession route and Restrepo will be littered with targets.
I'm curious too. I mean, look, Isaiah Horton's coming in. You mentioned Xavier Restrepo. We think Brashard Smith's going to have a stellar season. I think Frank Latson, that's my question mark there. I really want him to do well because I know that we really need him. Jacoby George, I think he can be a productive wide receiver. Keyshawn Smith, I think he's going to have a good year as well. Romello Brinson's coming back from an injury. So there's a lot of guys to circle in to, have good expectations for. But I agree. I don't think maybe Restrepo is kind of like, hey, the favorite to be the, leading the team in receptions and maybe even receiving yards as a go-to target. But, I think Charleston Rambo was an X factor last season. And if we can identify, an X factor like Charleston Rambo, our go-to wide receiver, where we just need to convert, possession wide receiver, if that, like a Braxton Berrios type, which maybe Xavier Restrepo can fill in that role, I think that's great. But if we can find that X factor like Charleston Rambo, that deep ball threat, making plays left and right, a lot of yards after catch, I think that would be great.
I think Keyshawn Smith might have a little chip on his shoulder, honestly. Being the guy that everyone thought he was going to be and not really blowing up last year, but showing that he could when he got opportunities. I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder, and I think he wants to come out and prove that he's the most experienced of that group that can handle the most possessions and can handle the big plays. I think he's going to come out and, dude, I have no problem with a chip on the shoulder with a guy. I have no problem with that at all.
All right, 30 minutes in roughly. Got 60 people live in the chat with us. Greatly appreciate your time. If you can hit subscribe, hit the like button to support the Scoop on the U, we would greatly appreciate it. We know it's the off season, not much going on right now. Going to provide you with the best content possible that we can achieve. Ross, any topic that's came to your mind right now that you want to speak about?
One thing that I've noticed, and you know me in recruiting, I keep an eye on that. One thing I've noticed in recruiting, and it's carried over for weeks and weeks now, is that we have a hunger and a desire to fix the offensive tackle position at Miami. And we're going after guys that, what I really like is we're going after guys that have the ability to play guard early so they can learn the strength of the game and learn things on the offensive line. You learn how to gel with the teammates. And then they can be switched over to tackle when their time is right. We're going after a lot of players with that kind of upside, that kind of versatility. But also, of course, guys like Clay Whedon, Alos Allen, and, those are pure offensive tackles. But Logan Howland, he's an offensive tackle, but he can move around because he's so athletic.
Hey, Ross, speaking of offense, and I think it's very, very important to have a good offensive line. I think 2019 showed us what happens when we don't have a good O-line. Kind of creates a mess offensively because, God, we really had a bad offensive line unit. Florida State had a worse one in 2019, but still, we need to fix that issue, obviously. Jaden Rashada put in a top 7. He also added he's going to be visiting Florida State. Seems like Miami's recruiting Emory Williams, 3-star quarterback. I'll be honest, Ross, I don't know what direction Miami's pushing for at quarterback or if we even have a shot with Jaden Rashada, just honestly speaking. Who's a 5-star quarterback, if I'm wrong. I think we're on the outside looking in with Jaden.
With the buzz of Emory Williams coming around lately, it kind of makes me feel the same way. But what I want to say, though, is that don't be fooled by Emory Williams' ranking. I've watched this guy's tape. He's flying under the radar. He deserves to be ranked higher than he is. He's got more upside than they're giving him credit for. He's got the body. He's got the arm. He's got the length. I mean, he's got what you want. He's got a little bit of athleticism. I mean, it's a shame that they have him ranked that low. I guess that's all I can say. It's a shame they have him ranked that low, but it might just work out for us so we could sneak in a very talented quarterback who, within maybe 2 or 3 years, starts to really show some serious growth. He's a
So
P5. He's a P5 quarterback.
you like him. You like him a lot.
I mean, I won't sit here and say that I'd rather have him over Rashada. I like Rashada better, of course. But I mean,
Right.
I do believe that this is a Power 5 quarterback within 2 or 3 years. You have him working underneath the right guys with his physical traits. He could possibly turn into a P5 starter someday.
When Tyler Van Dyke was coming out of high school, they compared him to Kirk Cousins. Do you see a similar quarterback to Emory Williams at all? It's a tough question because it's tough to just compare a high school quarterback to a professional.
You know, I don't know if I have a professional one, but I could say that in some ways he reminds me of just the quarterback Blackman that FSU had, but with more talent.
James Blackman.
Yeah, James Blackman. He's long. So in fact, you know what I would do then to make it a little more familiar? I would go in and say that he might have a little bit of N'Kosi Perry in him.
Interesting. Okay.
He can sling the ball.
He's got a cannon.
Yeah, he can sling the ball just fine. And he's got some underrated accuracy on some tough passes on the outside.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, he may not even commit to Miami, but let's see what happens. The quarterback position. It's always exciting to get a quarterback commit, obviously, so we'll see what happens. You never know. Jaden Rashada could be on the board. I think we're on the outside looking in with him. If you had to make an educated guess, Ross, who would be our next commit?
Our next commit. I feel like since we're pushing so hard for the offensive line, it would be an offensive tackle. I really do. We're pushing that hard for that. Now we are pushing hard for some guys behind the scenes at multiple positions. I've been informed by some coaches that we're actually really active after a tight end right now from Fleming Island High School that we haven't offered yet. But it sounds like we're really close to offering him, and a linebacker from Fleming Island that the staff's been really involved with. So there's going to be some new offers heading out, and it's going to be pretty soon.
Recruiting is a long game. Just got to be patient. You just got to win football games as well. I think that's the secret recipe.
If I had to give a name out that I think could be like a wild card that could, just fly up here one of these moments and become a Miami Hurricane, I go with Collins Achampong. That's who I roll with.
Yeah. Okay. Out of Anaheim, California.
Yep. I think he could be the surprise.
What about, Jackson Howard's another name, receiver, I believe out of Minnesota, could be wrong. But
big body receiver.
Big body receiver.
Tight end.
Minnesota. I mean, we're fairly going out of state a lot.
Yeah, we really are. but that's part of the Cristobal prowess. He's not just a local recruit. He recruits nationally, and he wants to make sure that while he's at Miami, he starts to set up these national relationships as early as possible so he can build on them.
No, 100%. I mean, he's got a lot of ties. He was in the Pacific Northwest. He's got a lot of ties with high school coaches, just recruiting in general, and relationships he's built up. And I'm sure he doesn't want those relationships to go to waste because he knows they can play at the University of Miami.
Well, Johnny Green mentioning Jackson Howard, like you were just talking about. I mean, dude, I think Jackson's a phenomenal player, and I think it would be absolutely great for this class if we added a guy like him. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Jackson Howard for his versatility, and that just screams versatility when you watch his film.
Ross, I think our next commit's going to be a tight end. I don't know who's it going to be. I think they're going for a tight end. We'll see. Could be Jackson Howard. Could be Colin out of Anaheim, California. Could be the tight end we just offered as well.
Let's see if they take a flyer on the kid from Fleming Island High School. I've got his coach is telling me flat out, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So he's like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I was like, all right, man. All right.
Well, we appreciate everyone joining us tonight. If you guys can hit subscribe, hit the like button. We have some great content coming up Thursday as well. We're going to get a former Cane, more of the recent years coming on the scoop, and I think you guys would enjoy his perspective during his time at the University of Miami and what he thinks about Mario Cristobal. So that's great. We'll say the name, Michael Pickney. The expectation is Thursday at 9 p.m. We're ready to go. He's committed to it as well. So if you want to hear about Michael Pickney's experience at the University of Miami, his thoughts about the current state of the program, and talk about the Manny Diaz era, be more than happy to have you guys tune in for us.
Boy, that'll be fun to talk about the Manny Diaz era with one of the guys who played in it.
Oh, yeah. I think he was recruited by Al Golden. I don't think it was like a pure Manny Diaz recruitment cycle.
Yeah, he was there. He was there with that class before Diaz started to take over. And then he was with Diaz predominantly. But still, I mean, there's going to be some kind of stories coming out, I'm sure. Gotta be.
Hey, looking forward to it. Thursday at 9 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in. On your way out, hit subscribe and the like button. And always, all about the U. Go Canes.
Go Canes.